Good morning. I'm higher vibrations and so are you. I apologize for my tardiness. I'm still not really good at doing this whole life thing on my own. I'm used to doing it with other people. Um, Hello, Cool Deep, welcome. I'm not sure if that was a message from before. There's a lot of crazy and cool things happening for us in a lot of different ways right now. Um, Astrologically speaking, there are a lot of things. We have 3 different meteor showers that are occurring just in the first couple of days of this month. One of them actually is starting on Sunday, and that's the Draconoid meteor shower that peaks on Monday, or sorry, on Sunday. And that's also the full moon, the hunter's moon. And that's kind of cool because it also coincides with a few other things that are occurring. The full moon, by the way, this month is in Aries, which is kind of significant for what we have going right now for us. And a lot of us in this awakening experience, there's it's the energy of motivation, new beginnings, energy, and that kind of thing to help us to move forward in some of those types of experiences. Hello, Kuldeep, you're here. Welcome. Thank you. And Carmen, hello. Thank you for joining. Um, I was talking about some of the astrological things that are occurring. One of those is a double full moon that I've never heard of it occurring before. I've been trying to do research on it to kind of back up what we were going to talk about today, but I'm not able to find very much. So, take it with a grain of salt. But supposedly, we are having a full moon both on Sunday the 9th, as well as on the following day, Monday the 10th, 2 days in a row. And I've actually never heard of that occurring. A blue moon is when you have 2 full moons in a single month. But that's usually after a full cycle, and so that's pretty neat. JP, thank you for joining us from Canada. There's a lot of cool stuff energetically happening in Canada, I think. Like there's so many people that I've been interacting with and connecting with lately in Canada, all over. And it's really cool to see that energy being grounded in that space. And Kuldeep, yeah, she's also in Canada. There's a few others of us that we do, by the way, just so I get this in there. The 3 times a week, we always have these Zoom meetings that are free. It's for light warriors, empaths, highly sensitive beings, all of us. And hello, Faith, welcome. I'm happy to see you here. Thank you for coming. And it's a different time each of those days. And so I always post them in my community section for those who are interested. You are welcome to join. It's free. You don't have to have your camera on if you don't want to. Also, people sometimes don't even put on their audio and they just simply type it in, and I'm happy to be your voice. I understand a lot of us come from this place where we, just like Carmen said, yeah, we're all very shy. I am so introverted. When it was this idea of doing a YouTube channel, I couldn't believe that concept. That was like a big joke, but I couldn't stop my guides from strongly suggesting that I do it. So here I am. And so anyway, we meet 3 times a week. And also, if you want to interact with me on a one-on-one basis, I am offering an hour for $22. I don't like to request money, but it's just kind of a thing that I'm doing. So if you're interested in that, please email me. My email is in my about me section in the YouTube channel, as well as in the description of just about every one of my videos. And hello, David. Hi to all supernovas. Namaste. Hello. IAHV viewing from Asia. Oh, that must be where you're from. Welcome. Thank you. How do you say your name? Paulston? It's important to me to say the correct name. I don't know. It feels wrong when someone calls me by something different. So I apologize if I slaughtered your name. JP says, I found your channel a couple of days ago. I strongly resonate. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And Dustin's back. I love you. Well, thank you for coming. Oh, good. I'm glad I said Paulston's name correctly. So before I have a couple of pages just to prepare myself, because I wasn't sure if anyone was going to join, and there's a lot to say, but I don't have to say all of it right now. I will write this out with the keyboard and put it in the Ascension Symptoms of right now is this book. And I put a note to myself to not forget, because I get so nervous in a live audience. I'm glad I did that. Thank you all for the 1,000 subscribers. That's so beautiful. Like, I don't know. It's such a profound experience to get to connect with so many people, and to have this experience of resonating with someone, just connecting in this way. We're all so similar, and the familiarity there is just uncanny and beautiful. And thank you so much for bringing me along on your journey. Yeah, just like Faith says, thank you so much for bringing up the Telegram group is also something that I have in almost, I haven't put it in this video, that's why I say almost, but all the other recent videos of mine, there's also a link for our Telegram group. There's like 56 or something of us on that group, and we're from all over the country. So there's always somebody to talk to. It's really nice to have that way to connect with somebody. A lot of us are just in the middle of the night, even just, hey, this is what I'm experiencing right now. Is anyone else going through this? And it's just so validating and assisting to us to know that you're not alone, and that this new weird ascension symptom is occurring. And yes, also, so our Zoom meetings that are free, I mentioned earlier, are on Tuesdays and on Fridays, and also on Sundays every week. And sometimes we have another surprise one here and there. It's just beautiful. A bunch of us gathering together and having a conversation. It's amazing. Thank you, Paulston. I appreciate these. Congratulations. It's just so amazing to have so many people along on this journey together. So let's talk about some of the ascension symptoms, and just kind of a new one for me has been this skin thing. We've had a lot of stuff going on with our skin, and being the largest organism on our body, it makes sense that there's going to be some stuff going on, but it's like kind of itchy, uncomfortable, not the right word, but there's like, it feels like I've had the pinprick thing happening at different places. And then I found that when I sent love to it, I would have a past life moment open, like it would like come forward. It was just brief. It's brief when I know as it's coming that that's what it is. So for any of you who don't have this experience of these just pop in moments of these weird scenes and stuff, I dug into them at first and like, wow, I want to know more about this, and let's research this, and let's find out more about who this person was that I was, right? And then I found that would just make it, it would linger. I was basically imprisoning that experience. And when it comes forward like that, it's for us to say, yeah, you existed, and to love, send some love, like that was you, that is you, that's part of your experience. And it may not be any longer, though. It truly is part of your resonance. And so to see this beautiful thing and to acknowledge it without judgment. So I'm not trying to like figure it out or whatever. And then to release it with love. That's the biggest message I've been getting for over a year now. It keeps coming in. And that came from Archangel Michael originally, but I'm hearing it from a lot of other spaces right now too. Yeah. So Carmen mentioned the burned skin, and a few of you have validated it. And I like really weird. And like the pokiness is what's really irritating to me or bothersome to me. It does feel like when it's happening that it feels for a moment that I have like bugs biting me or something weird like that, and not crawly or anything. I don't know how else to describe it. It's uncomfortable, but it's fleeting. I did notice that the skin rashes that we were getting before have kind of calmed down a bit. And this seems to be replacing that, and something else to mention too, is this weird sweating thing that we're doing lately. We've all been having these things occurring, but as these, hey, it's 111 here. That's pretty fun. That's also something else too, by the way, lots of synchronicities. People see it's a series of numbers all the time. The rashes went away and it turned into this. I'm finding that bathing in Epsom salt, or even without Epsom salt, just water, it's assisting that experience and calming it down a little bit. However, what I have found the most, and this sounds kind of strange, but when those things are occurring, I am kind of being called to go into a place of meditation. And that's been helping me. Like, I don't know if it fit. That's happened before when I was getting these temple headaches, a specific kind of temple headaches. And we were having these chakra activations occurring at that moment. And when that would happen, especially the headache behind my eyes, that was my higher self and my guides or whoever guiding me into a place of meditation. And so when I would go into meditation, all of a sudden it would go away. And I'm noticing that also with this skin stuff. It's very strange to kind of try to say because it feels weird, but um yeah, okay. So walking out, or excuse me, Carmen said waking up with heavy anxiety. Yes, definitely. Oh, and Justy, welcome, so glad you came. um Waking up heavy and being tired all day, but then when it's bedtime, honestly, I'm awake super duper late. Sky, welcome, so happy to see you. um and just as I go through the day, I look forward to bedtime because I'm so tired. And then bedtime comes, and it's like I'm that little kid that just, for some reason, doesn't want to go to bed. And then finally, when I do, I just don't go to sleep. Really weird dreams, I think was mentioned. I saw, yeah, Dustin mentioned lots of detailed dreams. Also, dreams coming forward from the past. Excuse me. Dreams coming forward from the past, like detailed as if you just had that dream from, but it was a dream that you recognize and recall suddenly, even though you didn't remember it before, from childhood or a long, long time ago. And coming forward right now in this moment, this lucid dreaming experience is like happening while we're waking up, or when you're able to access your dreams easier. It's like pulling through in that way. It's really cool. Lorraine, Lorraine, I'm sorry. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining and making it here. She's dead tired all day long at her job. Bedtime, she can't even sleep. Yes, exactly, exactly. Also, while at work, as situations occur, I'm finding that it's more important to take that few minutes of meditation. Meditation has a bad rap, to be honest with you. I was one of those people that didn't do it because I had preconceived notions of what meditation was, and basically meant that I was supposed to be able to make my brain stop working, and that doesn't happen. But just to center myself and to come into this space where I'm just able to breathe and take the time to bring the light in through my crown chakra, the top of my head, down from God through into myself, and then do the same with Mother Gaia, drawing up her light up through your root chakra and meeting in your heart, and kind of connecting. That only takes a couple of minutes. Honestly, after you do it for a while, you don't even need 5. That works really well in the stall of the bathroom, at work, at the store. Even sometimes I'm like, okay, I gotta go and take a moment, and recollect. There's a lot of energetic stuff happening globally, and so a lot of this stuff is kind of disorienting to try to stand in it. You know what I mean? So that's something to consider as a way to help you in this experience. Being tired all day until you go to sleep. David says yes, same thing. um Details, art, and tattoo. Lucid dream is off the charts. Yeah. And astral projection experiences. Lucid dreaming and astral kind of feel like the similar experience for me these days. I don't know how you all feel about that experience, but just having, they both feel the same. And that's another point to bring up about dream time, is that a lot of us waking up, I'm not having that at this moment, but I've had it multiple times throughout the past several years, really, but particularly the past couple of years, where when I'll go to sleep and I'll have a lengthy sleep, like enough sleep, right? And wake up exhausted, needing a nap from my sleep, kind of a thing. And that is really common. A lot of people are cycling through at different times. So, we'll all resonate with one of those things. And if you're not where we are, that doesn't mean you're behind. You're just a different experience at this moment. ZK says going through a Kundalini awakening. Awesome. Congratulations. Lots of head activations, vibrating at high speed. Sorry, this is moving. Let me try to stop it so I can read it. vibrating at high speed, hot flashes, interesting dreams, feet sore, third eye going, seeing light shadows, ears swirling. Ears swirling, that's an interesting one. I haven't heard that one yet. I've been getting a buzzing in my ears lately that's kind of a little bit annoying. And the ear ringing and all that stuff too, but the buzzing is kind of new. It's not the hum. Most of us don't even know we know this until we hear this, but there's actually a name for it called the Taos hum, and we're hearing Earth speaking to us. The scientists trying to figure it out and doing their thing, but it's so if you're hearing that also, it's usually around 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. DK, congratulations. That's really an amazing experience. Having a Kundalini awakening can be alarming. And all of us at some point do go through an experience similar to it. And, you're okay. You're going to be just fine. The one thing I did struggle with was my root chakra area vibrated a lot. And I found myself in embarrassing situations in public occasionally as my lower body would vibrate. And so that was something that a lot of people don't talk about, though it is something that is good to know. If you're going through it, you're not alone. It's okay. Dustin says, I am currently in Lake Matthews, Southern California. I have 7 ducks, 7 dogs, 2.5 acres, and 2 huge greenhouses. Excuse me, I have to cough. Pardon me. 2 huge greenhouses ready for seeds. I can offer help and I can use help. I love you, team. Oh, what a sweetheart. There's a lot of community places opening up right now, and spaces being made available in that way. They're these spiritual communities, and to keep in mind that there is something different than a commune, that experience that a lot of us are kind of brought up with, and that the preconceived notion again of what that may or may not be like. But it's so cool to see everybody banding together and becoming these spiritual spaces. And buzzing and reoccurring high pitch is what JB said. And yeah, the different octaves. A lot of times I'll notice that one of my other ears also, like I've said before in a lot of my videos, one sounds like muffled, like as if I'm underwater, when the other one's ringing. What's fun is I not too long ago discovered if you kind of focus in on one of the octaves of the buzz or of the ringing in your ear, every time, I don't know if it's because my attention or if it's actually because of that, but I hone into it, I focus into it, and I find that I get some cool download stuff, and I end up jumping down some fun rabbit holes. And so try that. It's like a download. It almost feels like these ringtones, the reason that we get more and more octaves kind of added to it is it's almost as if they're messages that we haven't picked up. Like on your voicemail, they just kind of collect. And when we kind of hone into it, we can pick up that message in some way. That's what it feels like to me. So it's kind of Zero. Cool. Welcome. So good to see you. Thank you. She says, great to see the channel grow. Hope everyone gets through the time as peaceful as possible. We have some fun stuff coming in. We sure do. Like, for instance, the 1010 portal is on a full moon. Again, there's 2 full moons this year or this month, and not like a blue moon where you have a moon and a full moon and then the cycle through and then another moon. This is a full moon on the 9th and on the 10th. So on Sunday and Monday. It's just really amazing. And it's during the portal. There's other stuff happening. That's the Taurid meteor shower it peaks on the 10th. The Draconoid meteor shower, peaks on the day before on the 9th. On the 9th also, Mercury is in its highest altitude in the morning sky. The lunar occultation of Uranus is happening on the 12th. There's a bunch of stuff. But one thing that I need to bring up for sure is that Mars enters retrograde on the 30th. And Mars is moving closer to the Earth and getting brighter each day. And that continues through December 6th. But, as Mars enters in retrograde motion, we want to think about what does that mean? And so Mars being in retrograde means that it's the opposite of what it normally is, right? So we will find that it sometimes when that happens, where we have some persistent difficulties in moving forward, like there feels like we're paddling upstream, we're trying to dig a hole in the dry sand kind of feeling. And it's just kind of asking us to take the time to rest, take care of yourself. Yeah, I know it's like kind of a joke since very few of us are sleeping right now, but there's other forms of rest. There's meditation, there's dance. It doesn't sound restful to be active, but it truly is. It's very bizarre. So, keeping that in mind. Oh, and then there's also a partial solar eclipse, but we're not going to be able to see it, at least where I live, over North America. But, in Russia, it's going to be like 80 something percent complete. So the point of there being a solar eclipse isn't so much that you're able to view it with your eyes. It's that every time that we get a solar event like that, something amazing happens. I've been able to, as you know, I'm honored with the privilege of having so many individuals I get to talk to on this awakening journey from all over the world. It's really cool. And having that, I get to see how many people awaken at certain times, and it's typical that people awaken in certain clumps, a window of time that there's a lot of people woke up at that time. Hey, that for any of you that are joining, if you'd like to say when you woke up, that would be kind of fun, or your awakening started. That'd be fun to kind of see the consistency in that. My original awakening was in 1983. There have been other awakenings and phases of awakening that I've experienced throughout this experience, and then there was a high school time where I just kind of pretended that none of it was going on. And it was good that happened at that. I didn't realize at the time what I was doing was saving it for now, really. So it's been kind of an interesting experience. Carmen says that ear ringing equals light language, your angels and spirit guides trying to connect. Yeah, for sure. There's this element of that's all in the spiritual world. For me, the way I experience it, it's all melodic. There's a melody. There's this beautiful music to it, and it's always in that kind of a space. And so for us to have it be an ear ringing as the message, it completely makes sense, and Details Art and Tattoo also said that also psychic attacks, voices, etc. Yeah, there's definitely been some other experiences coming through. Like I don't think I'm getting the psychic attack stuff, but I definitely am getting a lot of this. I'm seeing flashes of moments from other lifetimes that weren't mine. I don't know how else to describe it. And by witnessing it, because it needs to be witnessed, that's what I'm called to do, is to witness it. And I'm not sitting there watching like a 10-hour experience. It's like a flash. Occasionally that flash isn't so much imagery, but I'm very visual, so it tends to be. I also do get it where it's a physical experience, like a sharp pain, and the knowledge that was some type of a death for an individual. It's not that for me, and when that comes through, it's not meant as a way to cause disharmony for me. It's asking to be seen so it can be released. I'm not saying one way or another about your experience. That's simply something that I've noticed for me. So that's just something to consider, and when these things come in, it's crazy to say it. It doesn't feel, it's amazing that it's true, is that all we have to do is send love to it, and it sounds contrary to what's useful, because, we were conditioned in this lifetime to, brute force, kind of control and assistance through this experience. And in fact, sending love to it is the most amazing tool, way to solve these problems. If it is of love, it will answer back with love, and a lot more than I had sent. If it is not of love, it will flee, for it cannot stand before the light. It just can't. And often, if that energy is embodied, I've noticed that individuals, the people, will flee the experience, my experience, and a lot of times will cycle back. And finding out later on that ended up being their activation leading into their initial awakening experience. So we're planting seeds. It's pretty cool. Zero Cool says her awakening was in 2015. Haven't looked and don't want to go back. Yeah, amen, sister. Dustin says June 21st, solstice, Father's Day, 2015. The alarm sounded. Awesome. Congratulations. David says my awakening started in 1989 during the harmonic conversion. Harmonic. I said harmonic. I'm sorry. Wow, that's really neat. Cool Deep says June 2021. That's a really common one too. No Way Out said I woke up in 2005 and 8 months ago woke up and started this ascension journey. It's wonderful. I'm seeing other lifetimes. It's in flashes. Yeah, that's so cool. Congratulations. Thank you all for sharing yourself in that way. And you know that there is some real common 2017 during that particular solar eclipse. I had been in a narcissistic relationship and I was at that time. And when that solar eclipse occurred, all of a sudden, like, you know, we have these moments where it feels like all of a sudden we're flooded with stuff. And I had several leading up to then, but that moment, it liberated me is what it really did. Is all of a sudden I couldn't ignore anything any longer in any way, you know. And so though I had been still astral projecting and having other experiences like that, I hadn't had any of these types of things that we've been talking about for a while. I kind of dismissed them. I was really strongly considering medication for anxiety because as empaths, we are sponges. And I would just get hit upside the head and out of the blue with anxiety, full on panic attacks. And then, you know, as I was trying to figure it out, I would just, you know, make it worse. And anyway, so I was still having all these things. I just didn't know or wasn't willing to look at what it possibly could be. Faye says hers possibly started in 2017. Only heard the term spiritual awakening in 2020. Awesome. It's been fun having you on this journey. No Way Out. This is the first time I've shared with anyone about what's going on. I really resonated to what you were saying. Thank you so much for sharing yourself. No Way Out. That's beautiful. I really do appreciate that. Most of us are if we're not introverts, we've learned to be private. We've learned to not talk about certain things due to concern of judgment, ostracization, or even stronger consequences. And what's really cool is we're now in a time where those consequences are just no longer an experience, at least in my world and many others, you know. And the call to speak our truth and to speak about this experience that we're currently in is becoming so strong. You know, like a lot of us have had throat related ascension symptoms, throat and mouth, you know, like discomfort in throat. I had this weird one that's been really just barely started, but it's like, it feels like cool. I don't even know, like mint, like a sensation of mint in my throat. And it has nothing to do with eating or drinking or anything like that. Just comes. But that's actually kind of a pleasant one. Other experiences, our teeth have been separating, you know, mouth related trauma. I've heard of a lot of different individuals who've had to have, you know, some pretty invasive medical procedures even regarding their teeth and their mouth and their dental, you know, and that's just all the throat chakra stuff. I a lot of us, not all of us, come from a past life experience where, you know, the burning at the stake kind of thing occurred, you know. And so there's been this damper put on our throat, on our speaking ability and our willingness to speak our truth. And so that's what all that's about for a lot of people. I've even heard about people having gland issues in their throat and their neck. I mean, also, I've noticed having an adult acne is the strangest thing, and I've been having it, but particularly around my jaw and throat the past little bit. It's been really, really annoying. Headaches. I got to tell you about headaches. So the different kinds of headaches, some of them have to do with certain types of activations, chakra activations rather. Though there was this one that I was having for a while that it would shoot from here and go through and out. It was severe enough to call it a migraine if it lasted longer than the brief moment that it took to go through. what is very fascinating is then that the pain stopped occurring. And I found not long after some type of abscess occurred in my head. And once I removed that, then that I felt mournful. Like you could feel the energy connected with this. This just happened, but you could feel the energy connected with that abscess thing. And it was as if it didn't want to go. And that's okay. It was time for it to go, whatever it was. And I think that a lot of us are having this weird sweating and this acne and the rashes and stuff with our skin because that's what we can see. You know, what's happening is we're purging. We have collected a lot of toxins in our life. And toxins, there's a lot of different ways you can describe a toxin. But what I mean in this experience is something that doesn't serve you. You know, that it's in the air, it's in what we have eaten that we've stored in our fat or whatever. And as this stuff is making its way out and pushing its way out, we're finding we're needing to go to the bathroom a lot more. We're finding weird acne. We're finding rashes. And also other kinds of purging, like crying, you know, and laughing too. And then crying with laughter or crying with joy, you know, and it's okay. There's a lot of conversation about whether or not that's okay, you know, because I was brought up in a conditioned experience of that was like a weak thing, you know, crying. And now I just cry all the time, you know, and there's nothing comparable to it that I know of for the release that occurs in the act of crying. It's just beautiful. And so as the stuff is releasing and moving through us, just know that you're okay. It does help to increase your water intake. We were just doing a group meditation on one of the Zooms recently, and I went into channeling state, and that came through to up the water. Like it felt like there's never a command that comes through. It's never you have to. It's always a suggestion, but it felt like a strong suggestion, and that was the first time I've ever noticed, like, except for a time that I was almost put in danger, which move. But other than that, I've never been given a command like that. It felt like this is really a good idea. So just keep that in mind. No Way Out says there nose bleeding, sinus problems. I haven't had the nose bleeding thing, but sinus, yes. Weird popping and fluttering. I'm even noticing fluttering in my ears still. And speaking of purging, I've noticed, this is strange, but I'm noticing some weird stuff coming out of my ears. It's good that it's leaving. I can, you know, I frequent bathing is the only thing I can say. You know, it's kind of gross sometimes, but Izonda, I get such restless sleep. I feel like I'm always on the verge of waking up. Yeah. And fully engaged and engrossed in like Congress with individuals, and you feel like it's energetic beings, but there's like some type of commands. Not military. I don't know how else to describe it though. Like there's almost like a wisdom hierarchy or something. I don't know, but always engaged, and I find it really frustrating as well. It's not that much fun to have that experience because it's like I'm so tired. Faith says Archangel Michael helping with the throat. Yeah, 100%. Call in Archangel Michael, by the way. He's always there to assist you. Always. Just we live in this experience of free will. And as such, without specifically requesting assistance, we haven't properly given consent. And because of that, we won't get intervention from the higher realms unless you're in complete peril, unless we ask. And so, however, once you ask, help will be given, always. And so, you know, please, they want to, and you're not taking the energy away from anyone else. I used to think that. If I called for help, what if someone else needed help when they were helping me? You know, I'm just me, I can do it, kind of thing, or I'll handle it. And that's not the case. They can be everywhere, and they are everywhere. In fact, you have an army with you at this time. Beautiful army. Omnipresent. Yes. Thank you, Faith. I missed Cool Deep's comment earlier. She said, I had dark night of the soul for 7 years. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, I didn't either. Once I found, it seems like when you get the name for it, you find the word, all of a sudden, then like, or then it goes away. I mean, it's over. I don't know what that's about, but it's kind of annoying. No Way Out. Oh, I read that one. I'm sorry. Uh, Details and art and tattoo. Mine was in November 2016 with the Kundalini. Was brutal, not the same sense. Yeah, thank you for sharing that about your awakening. I definitely had a brutal experience too. People talk about these awakening things like there's butterflies and rainbows and joy and euphoria and everything just makes sense and I love everybody. Yeah, that's the end. At least for me, like not the end, but after all of the other stuff, I did find myself there eventually. Like where I am now is I am so blessed to get to have such a beautiful experience. However, it didn't start that way. It was very, very depressing. I felt like I was dying, like I had multiple like vital organs like failing and just I something was really wrong, and all of a sudden, I found out what dark night of the soul is, and I was able to kind of get an idea what was happening a little bit, though I had never heard of Ascension Symptoms until 2020, March 2020, when everyone's ears started ringing for that whole month. Like that hadn't happened to me before in that consistent way. And all of a sudden, it became a point of a topic. And I got to know what that was. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized these doctors that are always calling me a hypochondriac, and that there's nothing wrong with you, go home. I didn't have anything wrong with me. I was healthy, but those symptoms are really there. And I started to think that I was crazy, and then to find out how many of us are having the same experience all the time, and it changes, though we still kind of rotate through these experiences. David has a question. Do you have any information on the solar flares and the DNA downloads? Yeah, so that's a really good question. Thank you, David. I find it really fascinating, by the way, that we've had such a limited amount of solar flares the past couple of days, yet still having a lot of the experience that is always directly related to the solar flares. So the solar flares don't tend to, the sun is really large, in comparison to the Earth, obviously. And it has these coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, that are like little volcanoes or something like that kind of burst off the sun. And sometimes they build up and they become rather large before they go. The thing about this, though, is that it could be pointed in so many different directions that for it to be directly Earth facing and to make contact to us it happens, but it's just not very common, except for this year. Starting in January, we started having them all the time. In fact, I don't think we went more than a day or two without solar flares, and this has been day 3. And then I checked this morning, and we've got a big one on its way, and it should be here within the next 12 to 16 hours. So there's a lot of inner knowing and knowledge, and also prophecy regarding this question. I follow a lot of the Native American belief systems with that, and that's the white buffalo woman prophecies is how you would look up to get the full story. But this is like the brief version, is that all of these things were to occur. And that there's a bunch of different things that have already happened. It's really kind of fun to go, yep, that happened. And then nearer to the end, once the white buffalo was born into the Hopi tribe, I believe it was a Hopi, then that was the time when they could start talking about the prophecy. And so that happened in 1994. And ever since, there have been white buffalo born in that, but not just on the res, like throughout the world, and not just buffalo, but other animals. We've been talking about pink dolphins. We got albino deer now. All of these white animals are coming out to signal it's time. So the end of the prophecy is that the rainbow tribe gathers, the rainbow warriors. They people from all walks of life, creeds, whatever, and realize that there is no difference between us, that we are all beings of light. And this vessel that we are in, that we incarnate in, are just clothing, and that we are all these beings of love. And as we connect, then the sun is to weep into the other ocean. It wept into the Pacific, and that was when Mu fell. Mu is a Lemuria. When the sun weeps into the other ocean, moves to rise again. So everything has happened. I'm seeing the rainbow warriors here right now and all over the world. So we're just kind of waiting for that last part of that. So as we're getting these solar flares, I have noticed specifically every time a solar flare hits, I have a gift that improves. I have ascension symptoms too associated with it. However, as this plasma moves, that the light moves down through our physical form, it's more efficiently moved through water. So that's part of why I think we're being asked to drink so much more water right now. Um, this dormant DNA that used to be called junk DNA, like scientists have said forever that like 90 to 95% of our DNA is junk, because that's what you do is we're a platypus, it's a bunch of stuff that's left over. That's not the case. Surprise. Science has finally started to talk about it, where they're seeing these children coming online is what I was going to say, but that are born with this DNA active already. And then they're starting to see and note and openly discuss that also this has happened for people who are already, who hadn't had that activated before it's coming online. How is that occurring exactly? I'm not 100% sure. I do know as the sun moves through us, then we become something different each moment, something more correct, more specific to who we truly are. It more in resonance with self and the mission that we came here to do, and that is to be happy. That's really it. When we are in our place of joy, when we are in the place of play, the vibrations, the frequency that we send out, it amplifies in such a strong way. I've been honored to get to see this. It's so cool. And it doesn't just happen with me and my plants behind me or something, or who's standing next to you. It goes out and out and out and out and continues to go all the way through the cosmos. We are directly affecting everything. It's amazing. And so when we can be in that place of play, when we can be in this place of joy, whatever that is for you, you're doing a service to the all. And at the same, it's contrary to what I was conditioned to believe, in this experience, in this lifetime, that if I did things for myself, it was selfish and stuff like that. And that's not the case at all. When I'm taking care of myself, I'm taking care of you. I'm taking care of everybody, and whatever we're called to do, as long as, we are people that are service-oriented individuals. There is no except fors, because none of us are here to harm or cause disharmony for anyone else in our experience. We're all here with the same goal, and that is to be in a place of joy and to assist others along that journey. And that's why I'm here too. So as this DNA as this DNA turns on, we're noticing psychic gifts that maybe we didn't have before. And also for me, I'm noticing gifts that I'd already had have increased a lot, which has been kind of fun and kind of unexpected. Excuse me. One of the experiences that I want to bring up, a lot of people are seeing the light orbs, and the light orbs are true, or they're real. It's an experience that truly occurs. And so what it is so we've been vibing down here, right? And that's not bad. That's good. You're at where you were supposed to be at that time. there's other stuff that's vibrating up here. And as you start to change your vibration and meet the vibration of other things in this space, then we also can interact with those things. We can perceive them visually, auditorially, we can empathically experience them, sense them, kind of stuff. Have download and information exchange, all this kind of stuff. It's alarming at first to see these things. And one of the things that I found surprising was that there are these sun beings. They have come from the sun and they look like little cobwebs. And I don't know how else to describe it. Or another way to say, I guess, is like a vein system or a root system, just small little patches. And they're a consistent color, but they just kind of float and giggle and hover and make you happy and giggly. And they're coming with these solar flares, I think. But if they're easier to see at night when it's a darker room, but they're really real. They're really there, and it's fun to interact with them. The other one is that so the light orbs as well. Light orbs often will come to you, and when they do, if there's any kind of alarm and you don't want to engage with that, just say no. Just say no, and also send light to it. You don't have to do any of these things. A lot of this stuff is meant to assist you. And if it's causing you any kind of disharmony, know that you can put a break on it, at least for now. Another one is the silhouette of light. So it looks like you're seeing a very pale. At first, this is what a lot of people are experiencing, a pale aura around a physical being that you can't see inside. Like you just see their light, their silhouette. And I'm urged to bring this up only to say that they're not coming in and invading you. They're not just suddenly like, let's go there. They've always been present in an assisting, service-oriented way for your highest good and your highest joy. And it's just that you're now meeting that same vibration, so you can perceive them. If you're not seeing them, a lot of people are sensing them. Another thing that is happening for people is to get attention. There you get tapped. I remember in the beginning for me, it was the top of my head. I'd get tap, tap, tap. And I wouldn't be able to see anything, but I knew there was like some joyful being, like I would expect a friend, when I turned around, and there wasn't. And so it was kind of fun to hear other people describe it and have that experience come through. So just please know that you're okay. I'm sorry I haven't read any more of the comments for a minute here. Let's see. We have Cool Deep says, yeah, last one was strong. I think that I'm missing something. Oh, probably about the solar flare. And Cool Deep says they're bringing in energies we never experienced before. Yeah, 100%. Faces so much love in this container. Relax and lean back into your angels. Yes, they're there to assist you in so many different ways, and they are honored and excited. That's one thing I find really entertaining, because I get to see, as I walk through this experience, I'm uniquely blessed and honored to get to watch this interaction occur. And in these Zoom meetings, sometimes I get to see energies around other individuals. Most often I'm kind of like suggested not to bring it up because it's for them to come through. But the energies look like, come on, let me play, almost, like there's excited and celebration and yay, but also just kind of waiting for the word go, like a well-trained dog waiting for you to be able to, for you to say, go ahead and fetch, almost. It's really cute. And so just know they're always there, and they really do want to assist you. Carmen said, I had a white greenish butterfly following me this afternoon. Cool. Transmutation. That's awesome. Cool Deep. I just had a yellow butterfly. That's awesome. Lorraine says, so far I'm not noticing much psychic gifts. I think I can pick up on energy a little better. Yeah. And the thing about psychic gifts is that we all experience them differently, and they come online in a different order for people. I emphasize often that I'm a very visual person because that's my strength, though that's not everyone's strength, right? Celia, thank you. She joined. That's so cool to see you. Thank you for coming. The experience of having, I totally forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. So I'm very visual, but other people pick up on auditory stuff faster. They also, like you were saying, you're able to pick up on energy, and experience it through that. One thing for you, so perhaps since that is something that you've noticed as a strength of yours, in a place where you can quiet yourself, not necessarily in meditation, though I think that might assist you more, is while in that experience, bringing forward how you're noticing the energy that's not yours. How I learned to do that was to go where there wasn't anyone else's energy. Honestly, I didn't know the difference. I was surprised to find that I'm a joyful, peaceful person when I got to be on my own for the first time. And what I meant by that was away from a city for an extended period of time. I went into the mountains, and not everyone can do that. This is the thing. But whatever you can do, if you can break away, the farthest away from, if you can get away from a larger populated space that will assist you, then you can kind of figure out what your energy is. And then in that quieted place, notice as energy comes in. And when I started to do that, I get to see it now. It's different. A download to me looks kind of like a lotus flower, like it's a parcel. And then I get this information all bundled up in this beautiful closed flower. And as I feel into it, then one petal at a time kind of unfurls. And then I get to see what's inside, because each petal is part of the important story that I'm being given. And that visualization really assisted me. It's something that empowered me and kind of gave me something to look at or to point at as a way to strengthen that spiritual muscle. Because that's really what we're doing. It's not that we are doing any of this stuff for the first time, guys. Like, that's the craziest part about it, I guess, is that we are pros. That's why we're here. We came as a team to be a part of this experience and to assist in this mission of joy, to just raise the vibration of the planet, and to assist others on this awakening journey through that experience. And so as we empower ourselves and find that experience, we are able to strengthen that muscle, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We all have a different muscle, and though we haven't done it for a little while, we are a pro, so please be kind with yourself, gentle with yourself. I know that I tended, especially at the beginning, to be very impatient. And, when we compare ourselves to others, it's good. It's useful because then we can, not comparing exactly, but we can have somebody else say, yeah, me too. I'm also going through that, and it validates us. However, we all are on this journey differently. And so when I have an expectation of what it's going to look like, a lot of times it seems like it slows it down or makes it a little bit more difficult, if that makes any sense. So I don't know if that helps you in any way, but I hope that assists you. It's so great to see you too, Celia. Thank you for coming. Thank you for this. We are so blessed to see you. I'm blessed to have you all here. Thank you. Faith, do yourselves a favor and focus on the lower chakras first. Oh, girlfriend. That's a long spiel that I won't go into, but yes, we are really, really good at the upper 4 chakras. Like, that's our home. We hang out there all the time. Like, we're good at it. But when it comes to the lower 3, like, that's just kind of a thing that happens with us starseeds, with us light warriors, with empaths and stuff. I remember putting a lot of time focusing on opening my third eye and opening my crown and all this stuff. Dude, that stuff was already done. Without working on that unstable, unbalanced root chakra, and the sacral chakra, and I always mix the third chakra, the yellow one, whatever it's called. Sorry, solar plexus. And without working on those chakras, you really can't balance all the way. So here's a tip that I found. I did it backwards. I'm a little rebel. I'm just like, let me see what happens when I do this. And this was a couple of years ago, and I still do it occasionally when I notice. However, so people tend to, when they're aligning their chakras, most often individuals will start with their root chakra and then move up all the way up. And I found that bringing it down from the crown down to the third eye, down to the throat, and down, that for me, because this is my strength, the upper chakras, it assists the opening and the balancing of the rest of the chakras, and it also sounds contrary to say this, but I thought it was contrary to truth also. It just seems so bizarre, but this is an important thing as well, that grounding ourselves is not eliminating, because it felt like if I grounded myself, I wouldn't get to go and do cool astral stuff. I wasn't it's contrary to spirituality, and you want to go up and out and not ground yourself in earth. But that's actually really important. Without grounding, we can't fully balance ourselves and be open and able to experience it fully. We are here to draw this energy in. The message that came through for a little while ago, and it's so cool, is that we are the bridge people. We are the bridge people. And as such, what we're doing is we're bridging energy from this other experience that maybe is a heavier one, more dense experience. Some have referred to it as 3D experience. As we're moving into the higher frequencies, we're pulling the energy. So we're creating some kind of a bridge. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool, and it's such a beautiful service that all of you have offered, as you're doing this. I'm touched and honored to be part of such amazing servants, that the fact that you all put yourself out there day after day, for the service of the greater good. I know that it's not always comfortable, and it's not always cozy, and not knowing what might happen, or kind of stuff is disorienting in some way. But I'm just, thank you for your service. It's important that I say that, because I truly am thankful, as a team. But, as we've come here as a team, reuniting isn't the right word. I can't think of the word to use, because you can't reunite that which has not been separate. However, this reunion of experiences has been so beautiful. In these Zoom meetings, I've been uniquely blessed to be part of that. And so if you do want to connect and have an open conversation with other individuals, people who won't judge you, who know what you're saying, the coolest part about it is you don't have to go in this big spiel for a background story leading up to the point. Like, people get you already, It's really cool. And just having so many people say, yeah, me too, that has no price tag, and not only that, but a lot of us have been on this journey for quite some time, and still others have just come on and have enough freshness to them that they can remember what they did to assist them in that experience. And those of us who've been around a little bit longer have enough experience to have picked up some other tools along the way that you might not have heard of. So there's that benefit also. Celia asked what sign I am. I actually don't resonate with my sign. I'm supposed to be an Aries, but my north node is in Virgo, and that actually seems to be more correct. Your north node is where your soul is moving to, and your south node is where your soul is leaving, or that has already finished its job there. And so I resonate a bit more with that. I'm also kind of a cusper, so I resonate a little bit more with the Pisces side of it. But yes, Celia, we are a soul tribe and been together for many lifetimes. All 100%. Totally agree. I remember a lot of the energies as they come in, and that's fun. That's really fun. Not everybody knows what you do when you're asleep. In that sleep experience, a lot of us do astral stuff. And it's really weird, because time isn't a time, it's a place. And when we go to a place, then we can experience all of the things in that that place, that time. I don't know another word for it because that's the word we use. And so going back over and over again to the point that you left off over a series of years, sometimes working on something. And then all of a sudden, I'll remember it. Excuse me. I'll remember it happening after it's happening in real time. So we did some cool stuff with the earth as we moved up and in the space cosmos experience. And we're doing something with the earth in a very beautiful, loving, energetic way. And then a year and a half later, I found out that it just happened. But it happened before. You know, time is not true. Really what it comes down to too is that when you're in time, time is a circle that you stand in the middle of, or you exist within the middle of, and you touch any point that you want to. This linear time is becoming obsolete. A lot of the paradigms we are leaving behind is also have that experience. There's something else that we're going to have in November 8th. I wanted to remember not to forget that, excuse me, is that November 8th is a total lunar eclipse, at least for most of North America. And that's a telltale sign also of a moment. I always notice it, like you can call it a gate or you can call it a door. Or there's some type of boundary or barrier we have chosen to be present until we're mature enough to move that baby gate, right? Once we're mature and capable of moving the baby gate, you know, or whatever it is, then we can move into the next room. And this particular lunar eclipse, as well as the partial solar eclipse that's happening in a couple of days, feels very much like that. And so I look forward to it. There's a lot of excited energy about it. I have not gotten very many of my Ascension symptom list down. So I will actually write this list out and put it in the description of this video after we're done here. But a few things that are kind of new. The slurred speech thing I'm noticing is very difficult. Also, vocabulary. I have always been very articulate. I've been able to speak whatever it is I need to speak, and I'm finding it difficult to find the words that I need. You know, and so that's something that's very strange. And then also the forgetful thing. I'll be in the middle, like literally, I'm not even taking a breath and forget what I'm talking about, like completely. Most of that I've noticed, you know, we're connecting empathically, spiritually, psychically to each other in a lot of ways and having conversations. But conversations, the way that it happens is that when we come through, it's like that parcel. It's just a flash. And an extensive conversation had been had. And if used, if observed in timeline standards, that conversation you would have been here for about an hour, right? But it happened so quickly. And then, so I'll be talking and all of a sudden you'll feel that energy moving away. And all this stuff is now here in my head. And I'm like, what's my name? So that's something else that's been happening. It's a little bit embarrassing. Also the tingling spine, just for those of you who are having this, please, I want you to know that you're not alone, because that does feel kind of weird and unexpected. The tingling spine, the activating of the spine, noticing a vibration, not just in the spine, but also the core, a lot of sacral chakra stuff. We're opening up to our manifestation, the fullest capacity of our manifestation. And there's actually something that came up through a channeling of, I think it was Mother Mary. It's on a video I posted not too long ago. And it was to say, remember that whatever we send out to the universe is something that we're asking for. So that signal could actually be what I had done. What I tended to do was I would think about the worst case scenario of something so I could prepare myself for it just in case. And then when that worst case scenario thing happened, I would be like, oh, well, at least I was prepared, but darn it. I was asking for it to happen by sending that signal out, by thinking about it repeatedly in my mind and those types of things. And so as our womb center, and not just females, I call it a womb center because that there's no mistake that the womb was put in the place of creation, your sacral chakra. And so a lot of men and women are having pregnancy-like symptoms. It's been really fun to hear all of this stuff, this divine masculine and divine feminine coming through and experiencing right now. There was something else that I wanted to mention about Mars being in retrograde, is that it tends to be more of a, Mars is a very masculine energy. And so though it will affect all of us in an experience, it'll be more noticeable to the men in the audience today. And so just kind of be aware of that as that experience comes through, just asking you to just anchor that energy as it comes through a little bit more, and not only just the divine masculine, but as the divine feminine comes through for the male population and vice versa for the female. We are balanced beings and we have both. It just, we haven't always, at the very least, had complete access to that in a balanced way. And so that's something to keep in mind as this stuff comes through. And that will occur on the 30th of the end of the month. So just, in time for Halloween. So keep that in mind. There's so much more that I could say, but though my hour is up, I really enjoyed this. I think I'm going to start doing this more frequently. Also, we are planning to do, I haven't heard whether or not it's something that we are going to invite everyone to, or if it's just people who are part of the Telegram group. So if you are interested in joining our Telegram group, the link is in every one of my videos. I will put it on this video when I'm done here. Cool. A bunch of us are present in that, and it's been really cool to be a part of. And through that, on Monday, on 10/10, we're doing a dance circle. And that's just it's not really dance, like we're in front of our cameras at a Zoom meeting, and some of us are bringing instruments, and every one of us are gonna be participating with some other kind of like higher vibrational music in the background, and just celebrating. It's so cool that we're having so many things align on that day. That's also for Americans here, the Indigenous Peoples Day, or used to be known as Christopher Columbus Day. And so a lot of us get to have that chance of, it's kind of a bank holiday, kind of not. And so a lot of people, though, will have off work on that time. So we will be meeting at 1 p.m., I think is what we said. I will put the information in the description of this video also. There's a lot I'm going to put in the description, so I hope everybody can find everything. Thank you all for joining. And Celia says, yes, please do more. Okay, I will. Thank you so much. And thank you all for coming and for being a part of this journey. If you have the desire to reach out, you can email me. I'll have my email on the bottom, but it's highervibration@gmail.com. Thank you all. I love you. I hope you're having a lovely journey. Aho blessings.